Back to the Monday morning drawing group with Jake Meeks from the Fireside Network, who actually might be joining us a little bit later. Still waiting to get word on that. But welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join these live streams, real world events, share and inspire, and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We're beaming out almost every day, and it's evolved into a pretty awesome network of just live shows and on-demand tattoo art discussions. And it's been getting some pretty awesome rave reviews. You're currently watching the Monday Morning Drawing Group. Artists, feel free to zoom in by clicking on the link in the events area of the app or the community. You might be listening in from YouTube or Facebook, or maybe you're listening to the podcast. Either way, you can always get the latest event schedule and notifications from the official Reinventing the Tattoo community. We also have apps on the App Store, both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Or you can also go straight to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. All Reinventing the Tattoo Network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars. Seriously, all of it can be enjoyed on demand and found in the library, as well as the YouTube channel and the podcasts. I was actually just listening to one of the podcasts the other day, and it was awesome. Be forewarned, it is a rabbit hole. You will get sucked in to all of the tattoo information that's there, right? So just be aware of that. It's also really good stuff to put on for your clients as they're getting tattooed. Maybe you want to put on the philosophy of tattoo art discussion. Maybe they're interested in that. Maybe you want to put on, the talk that we had with the archaeologist, and go through and start to really discuss the history of it. It's pretty awesome stuff. You can also go through and enter to win a free sample goodie bag at Reinventing the Tattoo 24/7 or reinventing247.com. And that's also where we have a lot of our live replays, because there's always something going on here in the community. Some of the things you'll be able to get in these goodie bags are Cheyenne cartridges, some raw pigment samples, and all types of other stuff that are coming in. I think we had t-shirts that we were giving out for a little while. That were donated by one of the community members. It's pretty cool. You never know what you're going to get in one of those goodie bags. So we do have some weekly staple shows that you should be aware of if you are not already aware. Sundays at 1 p.m. We also have another Reinventing drawing group with me, Jason Leeser. At 9 p.m. we have the Tattoo Weekly Recap with Lauren, Gabe, and Jake Meeks as well. On Mondays at 9 a.m., Jake Meeks is also usually here to help host the Fireside Tattoo Network. Monday evenings at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers only exercise with Guy himself, where you're going through and working on different elements of tattoos and art. And, you're going through, and he takes a look at different things to focus on every week. Maybe it's elemental separation, maybe it's gradients, maybe it's creating texture, working with different elemental flows, or maybe it's working on cover-ups. You never really know. And that's for subscribers only. So unless you've got a subscription to Reinventing the Tattoo, to the canon, you're not going to be able to access that, because that is for subscribers only. Tuesdays, we've got the 10 a.m. Drawing group with Ricardo Sertivant, very good friend of mine, where he's always looking at and focusing on different aspects of art and how to develop art and how to go through and really work with your creative process. If you're new to art, if you're new to drawing, if you're new to the world of tattoo or fine art in general, tune in. It is going to be more helpful than you could ever imagine. Like I said, he's been a very good friend of mine for a little while now. And some of the things that we go back and forth and talk about and have discussed have been absolutely incredible and have blown my mind. His process is absolutely incredible. Definitely give it a look and check it out. Wednesdays at 12 noon, the Tattoo Now show with Gabe. Always informative, always awesome. I know Gabe was going through for a little while and looking at more of the business side of tattooing and, really taking a close examination of that. Absolutely.
Well,
Yep.
sorry. While you're on this, I'd love to plug the Paul Talbot interview that I did last Wednesday. Is awesome. Paul's a force to be reckoned with, and he's on that tattoo show. Anyways, that's the only thing I want to pop in for the Tattoo Now show. The previous one was with Paul Talbot. This week I'm taking off because I'll be off in the woods. But then we've got shit. Nick Mitchell is coming on, as well as Mike DeFries. Okay,
Oh,
that's my
wonderful.
quick plug. And the upcoming Wednesdays at noon. Cheers.
Excellent. Thanks, Gabe. Um, Thursdays, we have the Tattoo Collecting Podcast at noon. And we also have the Subscribers Fundamental class with Kira. And it's awesome if you wanted to go back through and revisit your fundamentals as far as shading basic shapes, looking at and deconstructing different, design elements and working with that. Highly recommend it. It's absolutely awesome. Few ways to support the show. So we've got some real world events coming up. October 3rd through 6th, we have the Paradise BYOB coming up. That is live in person. I will be there. Jake Meeks will be there. Gabe will be there in person. We've got an all-star lineup coming, and it is going to be absolutely crazy. We went over that yesterday as far as some of the people that were going to be showing up to do seminars and hanging out for a few days. It's really going to be absolutely awesome to get together with everyone. We also have the Brussels Tattoo Convention that we will be at as well. Nick Baxter has already confirmed, as well as Ivana and Gabe, for some seminars. We'll be doing some live streaming seminars and some art jams. We'll have some subscriber exclusive meetups. That's going to be going on November 12th through 14th in Brussels, Belgium. February 5th through 6th, Reinventing the Tattoo live from Red Tree in Columbus, Ohio. Art jam seminars, and there's going to be more information on that on the way. May 20th through 22nd of 2022, House City, Columbus. We will be coming at you live, as well as July 8th through 10th, 2022, the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo. We're going to have an entire crew of Reinventing the Tattoo people, artists. It's going to be an amazing venue. If you've never been there, you have to check it out. July 29th through 31st of next year, we have the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio, with Tony Urbanek. And mark it on your calendars now, ladies and gentlemen. October 20th through 23rd, we have the Paradise Tattoo Gathering back in full swing, full steam ahead. And that is going to be absolutely incredible. I can't wait for that one either. I did want to go through and take a minute to thank some of our sponsors and some of our upcoming professional development and on-demand seminars. We have some Reinventing the Tattoo business seminars, Andre Malcolm, BJ Betts, and Bob Tyrell. You can access all of these through courses.reinventingthetattoo.com. I would also like to give a very big thank you to World Tattoo Events, always keeping us up to date and letting us know when and where some of the next conventions are coming up. They're constantly updating all of the information on there, and it's absolutely amazing how they've been able to keep track of all of that information. I know I wouldn't be able to keep track of all of it, so how they can, I have no idea. But that's where you want to go for the latest up-to-date news on all of the latest tattoo convention information. Inkjet stencils. If you really want to kick your stencil game up to another level, take a look at Inkjet stencils. I've used them before, and they are incredible. You can literally print out a photograph and stencil it on someone's skin. I mean, granted, I do a lot of stuff with heavy line weights, but still being able to have that option available to print it out and literally print a photograph is absolutely incredible. If you're trying to take your stencil game up to another level, take a look at Inkjet stencils. It's going to blow your mind. Wanted to thank Raw Pigments, Tattoo Pigments 2.0, personal opinion there. I started utilizing those and incorporating those into a lot of the tattoos that I do, and I have never been happier. The color is vibrant and saturated, goes in super easy. It's 100% acrylic free, which is amazing, and it's direct from the source, right? So they're actually going straight from the source of the raw like powder and bringing it directly to you. It's absolutely awesome stuff. Highly recommend it. It's not going to dry out in an ink cap, which alone we've all encountered. Sometimes you want to get all of your colors out, in the beginning of a tattoo. Sometimes by the time you get to some of those lighter colors towards the end, maybe it's a little bit dry, and it's like, all right, come on, let me break through this crusty shell because it dried out. Screw it, I'll just pour a new cap, right? You're not going to run into that with raw pigments. And I've experienced that firsthand. They're crazy awesome. Definitely got to give those a shot. Would also like to thank Dermalize or Delize Pro from the US. If you're still using plastic wrap, it's time to upgrade. I mean, Dermalize was designed to heal tattoos. It's microporous. It's going to completely seal out all kinds of germs, bacteria, anything that's really going to mess with that tattoo, but it's still going to allow it to breathe, right? Because we all know that tattoos need air to heal. So it's like the best of both worlds. So if you're still using plastic wrap and maybe some more of those traditional methods to heal a tattoo, take a look at Delize or Dermalize as it's known in the rest of the world. It's going to change the way things really heal, and it's going to make it super easy. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com. If you're looking for the best online seminars to take a look at Tattoo Now. Everything you can imagine from Bob Tyrell and BJ Betts and you name it. I mean, they've got Paradise Gathering seminars with Jeff Gogwe. I mean, their catalog of what they can provide to you as far as an online seminar goes is absolutely insane. Whatever your style, whatever you like to do, whatever you want to learn more about, I can guarantee they've got a seminar for you. Tattoo Education and GuyAitchison.com. He is the founder of the Reinventing the Tattoo community. He has also single-handedly created the Biomech Encyclopedia, many DVDs, machines, and paintings, all of which are for sale on these two sites. As we all know, Guy's been at the forefront of tattoo education for quite a long time now. So if you're looking for anything of that nature, anything at all, I mean, I have a copy of Organica that I bought years ago, and I've been thinking about getting another one, but I know exactly where to go to get it, which is awesome. So I wanted to say thank you to all of those. I would also like to give a big shout out and thank you to a lot of our affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network with Jake Meeks. If you do not know about the Fireside Tattoo Network, you should look it up. If it doesn't matter if you're an apprentice, it doesn't matter if you've been tattooing for 20 years. I can guarantee you there is something on the Fireside Network that is going to help take your tattoo game to another level. I mean, they've got unbelievable interviews with all kinds of amazing artists and some really useful information from machine reviews and, machine breakdowns and advice to, large scale layout and compositional stuff. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the wealth of information that's available on the Fireside Tattoo Network. Got to meet and talk with Amy Nichols from the Apprenticeship Diaries. If you are an apprentice, if you're looking to become an apprentice, take a look. It's going to provide you with more useful and helpful information than you can ever imagine to help get you on the right track to achieving your career, right? Also, eco-friendly tattoo supplies, because who doesn't love to save the environment, right? All the tiny little furry woodland creatures out there, and if we can do something to help save their habitat, well, I'm going to do my part. So yeah, That's it for the
So
introduction.
real quick, did we want to make sure we plug Reinventing 24/7 because that's where the goodie bags are.
I believe I mentioned that
Oh,
earlier.
fantastic! And then just want to remind people how to beam in.
Yes. So if you're interested in beaming in and joining us live, feel free to go to the events area in the Reinventing the Tattoo community, either through the apps or through community.reinventingthetattoo.com. You'll see the events area pop up. In the events area, go through and you'll see a direct link to join this Zoom and come on in and say hi. Cool. I think that covers everything. I think that's good. Maybe.
Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yay. All right. So let's see who we've got here. Let me remove the spotlight. I was fortunate enough to meet up and talk to a very good friend of mine, Rich Wren, the other day. We met up, had a few beers, and, we're talking about life and tattoos and all that stuff. And I asked him if he wanted to stop in, and, thankfully he agreed. So, we're here with Rich Wren, which is awesome. Feel free to unmute yourself and say hi and say what's up. Getting started early, I see. So let's see. There you go.
Yep.
So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been tattooing?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. 19 years. Yeah. Almost 2 decades.
That's quite a bit.
It's only getting better, though.
I know, right? Awesome. Let's see. We've also got Ricardo on here. Ricardo leads the Tuesday morning drawing group. So what's up, Ricardo? Very good friend.
How's it going, Jason? What's up, man? Thank you for
right.
that post or that intro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I'm happy to be here today with everybody. Rich, it's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
How's it going? Yeah. Akshay, what's up, dude?
Yeah, Akshay's joining us all the way from India. That's awesome. What's up, Akshay?
Hello, sir. Good evening, good morning.
Morning.
Always a pleasure.
Well, I mean, it's probably what, midnight for you over there?
No, sir. It's evening today. Yesterday it was midnight.
Crazy. Time traveling.
I know, right?
Yeah. And then it looks like John Hall.
Sorry, it's Jetta. I just didn't know how to change it.
Hey, not a problem at all.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
So, sorry about that.
Jason, if you double click on the John Hall name, I think that you could change it as the host.
Oh.
I think so. I think that Jason's going to
rename.
do that.
Yes.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, learn something new.
I think Lauren figured that out, or somebody else figured that out.
That's dangerous. That could be dangerous.
It could.
So, Rich, where do you tattoo at?
Horsham, Pennsylvania. About, 20 minutes from Jason? Maybe 15 minutes, depending on which way you go. 10?
Depending on how fast you drive.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, how about you?
Me, I'm in Normal, Illinois.
Illinois?
Yeah.
I just drove through there.
Did you? What part?
Yeah. On my way to Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So you went north, huh?
Yeah.
Right on. So you hit like Chicagoland area.
Yep, that's exactly what I did. Yeah,
right
I stopped in Detroit, saw my buddies at a shop in Detroit, and then stayed overnight in Chicago on my way to a House on the Rock. It was awesome.
Dude, I was just talking about House on the Rock with a guy the other day. The place is magical.
It took me 4 hours to get through all of it. It's that amazing. Like, it's
dude,
so
huge. It's gigantic. Yeah, it's like it almost seems like it doesn't end. And then once you get to the concession area, right, you're like only halfway there, and you're like, dude, it's already been like 2.5 hours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But it's cool. Like, do you know a lot of the history about that place?
Yeah, actually, I do. Like that guy was a crazy dude, man. He's definitely an outlier, black sheep of like a enormously rich family, you know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he came from wealth. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like so at the end of the tour, the very end, they have the walls wallpapered with all their like railroad stocks and bonds. And it's like millions of dollars, like easily, you know. but he actually came from a rich family, didn't have to do anything but be a socialite, and he borrowed money from his parents and bought 58 acres, and that's how he was able to build the house.
Wow.
Yeah, the guy. I read everything about that guy.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. See, the only thing that I knew about it is that some guy found some spot and was like, "I want to build something here."
Yeah,
and people thought he was crazy, but he went through with it though. So that's pretty radical.
Yeah.
But there's a book by. Do you read an author named Neil Gaiman by any chance?
Yeah, of course. So that book, American Gods, was like my favorite book for like a decade. I read it like a dozen times. It's so good.
Oh man, it's super cinematic. The entire read from beginning to end is like, it's almost like you're reading the setup for a movie. You know what I mean? But
and that's the sole reason why I went. Was that?
Really?
Yeah.
That's killer, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way he explained that it's like got some magic there in this environment. You know what I mean? And I couldn't agree more, really. I mean, I know it's in a nonfiction book and everything like that, but it's pretty true. It rings really true to like that idea of when you're there, that kind of feeling that you get. Like, this is incredible.
It truly is, and I feel like if I got on the carousel, you're not allowed on them, but if you got on it, you'd be transported to the afterworld to have like communication with the gods. It's very much like that. It's
a limbo place.
Like everybody should go there. It's like awe-inspiring.
Man, that'd be cool to get a bunch of tattoo artists together and just head up there and see what happens.
Yeah, there's not much going on out that way, right?
No,
it's like 2 hours north of Madison or something.
Right, but Devil's Lake around that area is pretty cool too. I don't know if you got a chance to check that out, man. But I
did look it up. We weren't on a schedule per se, but I had other people in tow, so I didn't want to like make them, hike when they don't want to,
Yeah, there's a lot of places around here, a couple hours north. It's called Starved Rock, and that's some hiking, but it's nothing like Devil's Lake, man. Like literally, you're climbing up like some sheer faces up there, man. It's pretty cool, and then the view on top of that lake is fantastic, dude. So
I just wanted to go because of the name, right?
Devil's Lake, yeah.
Yeah, like
I didn't know he had his own lake named after him, but
he does what
he
wants. Or they do what they want. Yeah. Man, cool. So what kind of stuff do you get into, Rich? I've seen some of your work. What would you call it? What would you call that kind of style, do you think?
Illustrative neo-trad.
Nice.
I mean, that's the only thing I could come up with, because I'm not like European neo-trad, which is very like just bold, huge black areas with just like, nice clean color laid over it. I put
real quick, I don't mean to produce at the same time. Jason, can you screen share some of his work while
I would be happy to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh shit, I got to answer to people.
Yeah, I always feel the same way, man.
Sorry, buddy.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Well, I'm pretty excited about this. I've wanted to have more of a community, and that's kind of how I met Jason in the first place. Was like I reached out to him when I was like, it'd be really cool art day, just have art day at the shop. And I reached out to Jason, or he reached. I don't even know how we ended up like becoming buddies, but it was more or less. Oh shit.
You saw me in the tree outside your window that one night, and you were like, "Listen, just climb on down and come in and hang out."
I know. I invited you so many times.
I know. So let's take a look at this is a great one.
Oh no! Oh my god! I can't believe you're able to do all this. Can you swipe left on these? Oh wow! Oh my god! You can. This is so crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
Oh, that's great. I love the color scheme on that one too. Purple and like lime green.
Yeah, I think lime green and red are like my favorite, like by far. Okay. Maybe like occasionally, like I really like peyote, but I very rarely use it.
Yeah,
from Solid.
I've heard that stuff's pretty fun.
Yeah,
peyote.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
Yeah, look at how saturated that color is. That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
patience,
super
right?
clean.
Yeah.
How big is
actually
that
like-
piece?
What's that?
I'm sorry, I apologize. How big is the piece on the? Oh, it's a calf. Okay.
About it.
right?
Yeah, it's about a hand. Yeah.
Okay. Killer.
I'm actually like really proud of the one I just did on the ribs. If you go up, yeah, that one. It's a video though, so I don't know how it's going to work on here or whatever. But there's the color version. I would say color is my largest issue or my biggest issue. Like it's the most challenging thing. But I really like the palette I pulled out on this one, and I very rarely like something I've done. So like,
yeah,
you know, I was very happy to be able to. He let me do what I normally do, and like that one right there is like probably my favorite one this year.
nice, dude.
I
Yeah.
think that comes along with being an artist, though, right? Is never being satisfied with whatever work you do.
Agreed.
Always
Our own
strive
credit.
to do more and to get better and to learn more and to advance yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as soon as you think you know it all, you just stop learning anything. You know.
Right.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. But there's definitely a good way to be a little, try to be critical, but not in a negative way towards yourself.
Yeah, I used to have a Bruce Lee quote on my background and my wallpaper, and it was basically saying like, "Don't talk poorly about yourself, or
Yeah.
don't speak poorly about yourself, because then it just like becomes more of a reality. You start believing your own, negativity or whatever." And that's one thing, because I self-deprecate because like, I don't want to be that guy that everyone's like, yeah, he's really full of himself. What the fuck,
Yeah, as long as I've known you, man, you've always been one of the most humble people, which is, absolutely awesome because, looking at, for example, Damascus steel, right? You're one of the few people I know that could pull off the look of Damascus steel and have it be accurate, right?
Really?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
That's
So
killer.
like, things like that and just looking at how clean and bold everything is, man, I've always admired that. But you've always been like, yeah, it's just what I do. I tattoo and, I might draw some things that people like that they think are cool. And, that's awesome. But like, I just do what I do.
Yeah, basically.
Could you go back to that sword, the Damascus steel one? If you don't mind?
Yeah.
There's actually another dagger when to the left right there. That was my first Damascus, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Killer.
that's the first one I did. She wanted it. She wanted to do like on her like forearm or back arm or whatever, and that piece would have been like 4.5 inches tall. She's a very small girl, and I convinced her to do it on the thigh. Thank God.
Yeah.
In order
Yeah,
to
you
get
wouldn't
all
have been
that.
able to get anywhere near that amount of detail into it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
That's
Yeah,
killer,
I
dude. I
think it's
love
one
the color
thing that
scheme.
I think that's one thing that, a lot of clients out there might not really grasp or comprehend is that, we can only put so much in such an area, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so sometimes you have to educate them on that in order to get it to be up to our own quality standards.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's weird because you're just looking out for the longevity of the tattoo, because this is something we're dealing with. It's a forever item. And you want to do the professional and best thing for them to make sure that they're happy with their tattoo. You're not trying to blow it up just because you want to price gouge or whatever. You're blowing it up because you're like, hey man, if you want this to look good forever, it's gonna have to be a little bit bigger than that, like, and it's weird how some of them take that stance really hard. They're like, no, I want it this small, it's going on my body,
Right.
And
ultimately that is the end seller, right? Is like there's just a choice, but it's also up to you to be like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't do it because I'm trying to look out for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm trying to do what's best for you. It's not, this is a professional opinion. This is not a personal opinion,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's good to differentiate that when you're talking to people. Hey, so we have some people in the chat rooms. Stacy Fox Tattoos says, just catching this kind of randomly. What is the synopsis of this get together? And Jason, I know that you talked about it a bit in the caption. That you want to let everyone know, whoever anybody else that's catching this randomly, what the synopsis this get together is?
Yeah. So basic summary of, these drawing groups that we hold on Sundays and Mondays is we get together and we talk about tattoos. We provide critiques, advice. We work on drawings for the week. If we've got stuff that we're working on, maybe we'll pose a question out or, reach out to other people that are in the Zoom for, advice on maybe problem solving. If, maybe we've got a tricky cover up we're working on, or maybe we're just trying to figure out how we can get more flow or balance into a piece, or maybe we're just really struggling with an issue that's, maybe we hit like a creative slump. How are we going to deal with that? Different things that are related to art and tattoos. We'll go through and we'll discuss them. And, it's pretty open. We're always willing to give advice and, to talk about almost any topic. I think when these really started to kick off, it was more about, okay, let's start working on our homework for the week, for whatever, going through and working on some Procreate hacks, and like little tips and tricks. But I think it's evolved beyond that. And, it's become a bit more open, and, that's kind of what we're providing.
And then if you're an artist and you want to beam in, or if you want to get notifications about when these are happening, download the Reinventing the Tattoo app at either the app stores or go to community.reinventingthetattoo.com. And then give it a follow, give some positive reviews, all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Stacy Fox says, awesome. Thanks, guys. This sounds like a great get together. I dig it a lot. Yeah.
Sweet.
Hey, Jason, can we check out that centipede right across the chest there?
That's a cover up too. That's like he had a rocker.
Oh man, that's incredible, dude.
Yeah, I can't remember what it said, but it was, something he didn't care for anymore, right?
Yeah, that's where it goes.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah, it's super great.
Yeah, muted purple is like one of my favorite colors to use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why. It's something about it. It's like just a sexy color,
Next to that black patterning with little dots and stuff, it allows it doesn't cover it up so much, but it allows it to be read through it too, though. And it did the effective job of covering up that lettering too, and it's an excellent approach, dude. And I love the pattern of it.
Thanks.
I love that rhythm and all of it too, man. It's great.
I'm actually tattooing my coworker sometime at the end of this month. I think I'm doing a centipede on his head. So
nice.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
can't
can't wait
that.
to do that to him.
That's gonna be excellent.
Yeah, Rich, keep in touch. Let me know when, man. I'd love to get in and like maybe we can get some kind of like a live stream going while you do that. I think that would be
fun.
sweet.
Yeah. Let me take
maybe it's a good time to check out, is anybody working on some designs or artwork? And it'd be fun if while Chris is here, maybe we could get some of his advice if anybody's having any particular challenges or something.
Yeah, let's get rid of this screen.
Okay, fine.
Forcing me to look at it.
Awesome.
We did just have a couple of people jump in the Vimeo chat. Dazzlelink said, love the content. Keep up the great work, guys and gals, and all of the other people that identify whichever way. They said they are watching their break from Leeds, West Yorkshire in the UK.
Awesome.
Nice.
Hey, I believe we did send the goodie bag. I know every once in a while there's a message that comes across. It's probably in customs, but we will double check on that. Sorry for not replying in the manner that you communicated in, but this just happened to work.
It happens. It's communication regardless. All right, so let's minimize that. Ricardo, how are you coming out with your homework, man? Did you finish that up yesterday?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I ended up hanging out with my son for a few hours yesterday, and then worked on some stuff for some video editing that I've been helping out with. But I'm working on it this morning. Here, let me turn my camera on. See what you guys think about it. Is this okay like this?
Oh yeah, dude, that's nice. Here, let me spotlight you.
Turn that off real quick. There you go. So I've just been, I kind of left it where it was at yesterday. I'm gonna need to get in and start clarifying some of these edges for like that little riverbed and such. Kind of create a little bit more of an edge here into this like lower third portion of the image, right about here, and start playing with that reflection that's going to be in the water and everything like that. Just kind of get it, tying it into its own atmosphere a little bit more, and then probably play with some more of those like large scale contrast points too. Maybe a little bit more back here, a little bit more of this like mid-tone gray kind of coming through, to kind of make these like snowflake star things kind of pop out a little bit more. But I'll get in a little bit more in detail. I really love this Procreate app, and I love using the square brushes. I don't really mess around with too much else except for the blending tool, or the smudging tool, whatever you want to call it. But I love paintings, and I love drawing like I try to paint as well. So whenever you zoom in on it, you can see how rough everything really still is. Like the way you would walk up into a gallery and see a painting, you see all the strokes and stuff like that, all those little magic kind of points that just kind of appear when you're moving the brush around and such. I love that effect. And then when you kind of come back out, it starts to look more and more detailed, which is it's a crazy illusion. I love it.
Now, how big is the canvas that you're drawing on?
Well, it's just the A4. I don't know how to describe it other than that. On the Procreate app, it's just the size of this is probably what, 8 by 11, as far as it being in the focal point right now, as the standard size.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's the size of a iPad Pro, basically. Yeah.
Awesome.
So this week was what was it called? Large scale or large contrast? Large scale contrast, I think.
Yeah. Or
yeah,
large scale gradients or something along those lines.
Yeah. So trying to adhere to the parameters of the homework and such, and it's always a good time to kind of step out of like the way you would try to draw or paint, and use those applications to kind of accomplish the goal. It's been fun. It's been life-changing for me as far as my artwork goes too,
Right.
It's been bringing it to a more finished kind of look, which I've always I've always struggled with that. When is it done? You know what I mean? Like where do I stop? Like, cause I don't know
It's
if
never
it's finished
done.
or not. Right.
Never.
Exactly. You know what I mean? No, never. But with some of this guidance that guy gives us every Monday night, man, it's been revolutionary for my artwork and for my approach to it too, man. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I always love hearing that, man.
Yeah, other than that, that's about it. I mean, I got a couple sketches. I actually have a kid coming in today to look at his portfolio. He's interested in apprenticeship and everything like that. So I'm excited to kind of sit down with him and go over that with him, just talk to him, kind of feel him out, see where he's coming from, first of all, and see what his goals are with art. Talk to him about what he likes about his art, what he likes about other artists. So it's gonna be a pretty good time.
That's what's up, man.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. What do you guys think?
I don't know how everybody draws on iPads. I don't know how you guys do that.
Oh, do you do everything analog still?
Yeah, analog.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's the term I've come to learn. Yeah, it sounds more technical, right, than what it actually is. But yeah,
exactly. You're on pen and paper, huh? You fucking Neanderthal.
Where's your club, man? Are you still discovering fire over there? Is that it?
Yeah.
I just rub two sticks together. That's how I draw.
Yeah, just like that. And it's like boom, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Just kind of throw some bones at it, see what happens. Yeah,
I mean, we were actually, this touches on something that we were talking about yesterday in yesterday's drawing group, where, the advantages and disadvantages to drawing digitally and drawing analog, right? For a lot of people such as myself that came up in this transition between analog into digital, where iPads were really becoming popular, and people were really starting to pick up on the adaptation of them, being able to utilize them to their fullest extent in the tattoo industry. Whereas, we started out analog, right? Here's your picture. This is what you draw, right? And it was, this is how you had to do it. And you got that full range of motion with your arm to go through and sketch things out. And you really got that process down. And not just that, but once you laid pencil to paper, you were committed to that stroke or that movement, right? And if you didn't like it, if you needed to start over, you had to scrap the whole thing and throw it out, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, all we have to do is hide a layer or add a new layer or delete a layer, right?
Man.
So it almost seems like it's got a little bit more impermanence to it, so that we can constantly make adjustments and changes as we move going further.
And so that was yesterday, which, so just so people, if they want to listen to that, that was July 18th, 2021's Sunday drawing group.
Yeah.
Do we have a couple other people on the line that we haven't heard from yet?
Yeah. Jetta, what are you up to? What do you have going on today? You are muted. Let's see if we can get you to.
I got it. Okay, I'm sorry. It's my day off, which is the first day in a long time. COVID has kind of forced me to work as much as I could to recoup some money that we lost from not working. So I have today to just relax and do a little bit of drawing. It's very early for me, so I'm still in bed drawing. But that's okay. That's good. Yeah, that's really it.
Can we see what you're working on?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to show you. It's just little
Little mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fungus.
Right. I have a client who wants like a half sleeve of mushrooms, and it's not something I've probably drawn since the 90s, but getting back into it, it all circles round.
Yeah. Those look like fun guys.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Radical.
Thanks.
Cool. Let's keep it going. Akshay, what's going on, bud? What's going on from the other side of the world?
Yes, sir. Big fan of that, sir. I always take inspiration from him. We've also discussed about like some of his designs, like in the previous live sessions. It's crazy, sir.
Right.
Amazing to be here.
So,
That's
I've
right,
always
yeah.
been more of a fan of working with both, right? Start out digital, get your concepts down, like sketch it all out. But if you're going to work on a real piece of art, like a painting or a drawing or a piece of flash or something like that, do it by hand, right? I just feel like it's got a little bit more intrinsic value to myself when I paint something by hand, and use those, hand motions, line everything with a brush. Rich has seen me do that. And I remember he's like, dude, you're lining everything with a brush. Why are you doing that? Use a micron. And I'm like, but I like lining with a brush.
He's like pinstriping on.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a fun day. But yeah, man, it's I know you work a lot analog as well, Akshay. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like I have recently, after like you showed me how to do like layers in Procreate and start sketching on Procreate, I have used Procreate from that time. But like mostly I do rough sketches first on paper and then execute it into a final design. Today I'm also working on like a rough concept. Let me show you. It's on Procreate only. And with I just wanted to ask you, like how do you like come with such a crazy line works, and like how do you like create designs in such perspective? Like, can you like give me some pointers a little bit, because I'm also going into some like illustrative style.
Yeah, Rich. What
Me?
do you got? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Akshay's been a big fan of your work for a while, man.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, Jason's pointed him out. Just pointed at your workout several times, and Akshay's always been like a real huge fan amongst all of us too. So,
all right. Like how? Like so. Well, like like we said earlier, I'm analog, right? And the only reason for that is because I draw fast, And whenever I tried to go over to using digital, it slowed me down because of the layers, and mostly because of the zoom in, zoom out kind of thing. Like I like to see my image all at once. And typically how I draw is I look up all my references, which I can't emphasize more, is to look at references, you know, reference. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying, you know, look at other people's tattoos, but look at references. You're trying to draw a Chihuahua. All right. So you're trying to draw a Chihuahua. You have an idea what a Chihuahua looks like, you know, in your head, you do, you know, and you could try drawing it, you know, from memory, or you can look at a picture of a Chihuahua and you know, and draw from that, you know, from those photos. So when I say reference, you know, you could be looking for Chihuahuas and you see them from every angle, you know what I mean? Maybe a Chihuahua jumping, maybe a Chihuahua swimming, maybe a Chihuahua, you know, in a weird position, relaxed, or whatever it may be. And then for me is when I start seeing that, that perspective that you mentioned, you know, the perspective, the angle, when I see that angle in my references, I'm not saying the exact thing, but something just close enough to it, I then know what the piece is going to look like. So I actually like fully develop my ideas in my head before I actually draw. And then when I start drawing, I just start at one point and I work my way out, you know? So if it's, let's just say, you know, a female face, let's just say, or just a bust, you know, I just start at like the nose, and then I do like the mouth, the chin, the eyes, or I start at the chin, do the mouth, the nose, the eyes, then get the shape of the head, put the ear on, put the neck on, and so on and so forth. And you know, it doesn't look exactly like that thing that I'm looking at. You know, I don't trace anything. I don't trace references. I don't trace anything. So, you know, I can add a little bit more to it here and there. And again, I know you can do this digitally, but analog again, I use specific markers, and it's sort of like Jason and I were talking about it yesterday, where, you know, I don't tattoo fast, I tattoo efficiently. And it's mostly because I thought out all of those things I needed to do before I even did it, which the one argument towards that is the happy accident doesn't happen as often because I figured it all out. So after I do all that drawing, I find that perspective I really like let's just say the face you have in your background right here, you know, that's a 3/4 face, right? You know, it looks like maybe it's a baby or whatever, you know, look at a million babies and find the right face and then draw your version of that face. And then when I do my line work, I use specific, like I don't use micron, I use Tiki, I use rotorings, which mostly I use them because they're fat. And not only are they fat, they're super saturated. So when you're working on when you're doing watercolor, when you're doing your paintings on paper, that paper is I like heavy weight. I like 120 pound, you know, I like real heavyweight paper. When you use a regular micron, it looks all sketchy and it gets all weird looking, which could be, you know, a part of your working or part of your style. But I like my lines to be bold and clean, so I use those Tikis, and I use an 11 straight, like is like my like main needle grouping, an 11 straight, and my rotoring is 7. The number, the size of the rotoring is 7. That's my 11. And then I use a 3 from rotoring, and then that's my bug pin 9 or my bug pin 11. Then I use an 01 from rotoring, and that's my bug pin 3 liner. So I actually figure out all my line work way before I actually tattoo it. So then when I actually tattoo it, I just, you know, have those 3 go-tos, whether it be 11 straight, 18 round, or 18 straight, or, you know, whatever, you know, those things like go hand in hand, and it feels more like a tattoo when I'm doing my line work and my final drawing. But then when it comes to the application, you know, years and years of experience and tattooing has like caused me to know which one of these lines are actually supposed to be lighter in line weight, meaning like, bloodline or light gray lining. So, you could do nice, clean, light gray lining with an 11 round too. Why not? There's nobody saying you can't do that, So, that's another dimension in the line work, is color lining or black and gray lining or blood lining or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what people call it nowadays. So it's like line weight and then line opacity, and that's how you get those, not every line in the tattoo has to be black. And that's where that's the point at which I say I'm not neo-trad, I'm illustrative neo-trad. I changed the hue of the line in addition to the size of the line as well. Did that help?
Yes, sir. Amazing.
It was a little long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, sir. It's like golden information. Crazy, sir. Crazy.
That's awesome.
Sir, like I'll show you what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, let's take a look, man.
So sir, again, it's a cover up, and so
wow.
like
Wow.
I plan to do this.
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
This. So I wanted to do like now more kind of a illustrative kind of a style. So I always think about like power lines and something about perspective. So like I also wanted to do something with this design, like go with some power lines, like add some power lines on this area, like in the front. So what do you think, sir?
So like one of the challenges I think for myself in doing extremely large scale stuff, that's like half a back there, right? Is like,
yes, sir.
when you're increasing the size of your drawing, should your line work also increase, meaning like using an 18 straight and fucking doubling it up? Like, is that something you should do? And
Yes, sir.
people like Teresa Sharp, for example, like she'll do gray line on everybody. It looks like she's using maybe like a 7 or a bug pin 9, and she just does it with like medium gray lines. And then when she goes in like session by session, she'll slowly then re-outline before she shades, right? So like, I guess you got to question yourself, like, do I need these lines to be big enough for a 7 mag to be the right thing to use to outline this? Or am I cool with just using just the average line that you would use for a forearm tattoo, just a small little jammer, the size of your hand? Like,
Yes.
like, do I use that very same line work to do back pieces? In Teresa Sharp's sense, yeah, absolutely. I personally like using the line work to show that perspective you're speaking about. You know what I mean? So like,
Yes, sir.
I think if you really want to work perspective a little bit more, if you don't mind me saying something about it, this right arm you have that's coming forward, it could actually be reaching out towards you, and then that'll give you more opportunity to drop those really big fat lines you want to do,
Yes, sir. Okay.
That's awesome, man. Great advice too. Because I think, the varying size of your line weight can really ultimately determine the perspective if you decide to use hard lines.
Yeah.
And that it's something that I try to focus on a lot in some of my work. And that's, getting that that crazy line weight variation, right? I mean, you're talking about going from like a loose 18, right? Or like a straight 18 all the way down to a bug pin 3.
I know.
Right? That's like an insane line weight variation right there. But that's what allows that kind of a dynamic contrast in that line weight alone. And when you have that kind of a line weight contrast alone, that creates your value, that creates your perspective, and can even define your light source, then anything you do with that tattoo on top of that is just going to make it look even better.
Agreed.
So, yeah, very insightful. We still have a couple
Yes,
other
sir.
people to get to though, so I'm gonna move on. Kirsten. Hi. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us what you're working on.
I am. Let me show myself. I'm doing homework for tonight. I stayed up really late, later than I should have, working on it. But let me see if I can make it a little brighter.
Did you fall asleep on another Zoom call?
No, I actually fell asleep sitting, like head down, and my iPad's still in my lap.
Been
Yeah.
there.
Lights
till you're
Been
on.
there a
40.
few times.
So this is what I'm working on.
Oh, hell
All
yeah.
right.
So was this homework assignment like a wolf homework assignment?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
That's pretty awesome. I love the value that you got in that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I started
Killer.
painting everything on Procreate instead of doing what I was taught in my apprenticeship, which was pretty much do a sketch, outline the whole thing, like if you were to do a tattoo, and then like start layering it like that. But I felt like when I did that, it was already starting out with something so clean, and then I was just ruining it just by adding all the values in and making it look scary. So I just thought it was better to, I don't know, paint on Procreate rather than do a tattoo on Procreate. But yeah, that's what I got. I don't know if it's following the homework assignment because
No, yeah, I think it is.
Well, and that's something that's come up in the past is, is the homework assignment like very strict, or is it more interpretive, right? Can you go through and can you kind of go outside those guidelines as long as you're still working on what we're supposed to be working on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on it because then it takes away from everything else I'm trying to do, I guess. I don't know. Make it make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I love the texture that you achieved. I love those gradients. I think you've got the right amount of contrast between the background and the foreground.
Yep.
I mean, I dig it.
Yeah, I dig it too. It's very legible. You know what I mean? You can take the first glance at it and know exactly what it is right away. So that's super effective all on its own. So good job. And then you get a chance to kind of start peering around the rest of the subject matter, and you get to start seeing how it interacts with itself. So that's good too. And I absolutely love the approach of painting on the iPad too. That's the way I approach all of my stuff too. It's like, don't use it for line work. Don't use it for a bunch of stuff. I just like getting the shapes and the values in there first and foremost, for sure.
It's really relaxing that way.
It is. It takes a lot of pressure off of it, for sure. It makes it fun.
It really does. And then
Yeah.
I don't even outline usually unless somebody wants it tattooed, and then I'll outline it.
I'm sorry, we can barely hear you.
Oh,
Or I can. Yeah.
What?
A little
Is it
quiet.
just me?
No, it's not just you, Ricardo.
Yeah, little quiet.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that a little better?
Use your outdoor voice.
Oh wait, maybe it's because hold on.
Yeah,
There
or turn
we
your
go.
turn your
There
microphone
we go.
sensitivity up.
Yeah.
May I interject some chaos into this?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. All right. Like I actually went to art school, and one of the things that I thought was interesting. So when you go to art school, like they typically will give you that homework assignment, right? They give you like, here, you need to have this done by like, whatever month. And let's just say wolf is the homework assignment, right? When I was like more in when I was in my junior, senior kind of year, I stopped doing the homework assignments entirely, or at least what they required of it, So if they said wolf and I already had my own body of work that I was working on, that I felt like was how I wanted my artwork to be represented, like, and I didn't need the inspiration of somebody telling me what I should design. I just did what was better for my body of work that was actually doing. And when we came into critique, they critiqued it anyway. Like I feel like when I was in art school, it was the subject was a suggestion. If you feel like you're super inspired and you don't need that suggestion from a teacher, do what is great for you. And in your case, you're saying, I like to paint on there, like do that. You know, who cares if it didn't have anything to do with the homework assignment? This was more inspiring to you, and that jump point being the assignment caused you to do something that's more satisfying for you, right? So like, I'm not saying, you know, like be a rebel, don't do what everybody's doing, but you know, like I always saw when somebody gave me that, you know, like they said, like I went to school for glass blowing. So if they said like, hey man, let's totally do flame, you know, your whole idea is going to be like, work on this idea. You're like, you take it and you take the word flame and do whatever you want with it. And at that point I was making urns out of glass. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do the flame thing. I'm gonna keep going with what I find more interesting, you know, and then please critique that when we get there, you know. And nobody ever really complained about that.
That's rad. You know, and that's the cool part is I think Guy is definitely into that idea where it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to be the subject matter, but he wants you to kind of study what it is that we're trying to causally affect, you know what I mean? Like as far as that saturation of tonal value and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that Guy's always been really into is like, you know, trying to promote that idea of yourself and getting into your style and stuff like that too. And I think that's definitely one of the things you should take into consideration for sure, Rich. I agree with you for sure.
Absolutely.
But there are principles though that are trying to be taught. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
as far as,
this is my first time. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I said, can I interject chaos?
No,
like,
yeah.
I don't know about the assignment. Like I didn't know that Guy Atchison gave it out. Yeah.
No.
Well, in this case,
it's
like the wolf isn't the assignment; it's the contrast and exploring large fields of gradients, right? And so,
right.
Yeah, people got that shit down. I don't think he's, he's not. You know, again, to your point, like this is all about improvement, right? So if people feel like they can improve, you know, taking it in different directions, I think it's in full alignment with what's going on. I just wanted to say that the assignment, I believe it wasn't, you know, the wolf was some of the subject matters of the goal is, you know, contrast and gradients. But.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but I think
Jason, if you could get us off of speaker mode, it looks like it's on auto speaker mode, like we talked about earlier, because when I'm talking, it's popping up my black screen.
But I think that's one of the cool parts about these kinds of conversations, man, is that we can like, you know, and kind of input these ideas, these different perspectives and thought and stuff like that, and like really have an in-depth conversation about it. And I think that's the best part about these Zoom meetings is like all of us as artists, we all have different approaches, we all have different backgrounds and everything like that. And how much more if we don't propose those ideas to each other and we don't have conversation about them, civil conversation about them, how are we going to grow? Right. So I think it's awesome that you interjected something like that into this conversation, man, because it instigates questions. You know what I mean? So how much cooler can that be, dude? So thank you for that.
Yeah, this is pretty rad. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I was blown away. The first time I jumped in on Jason's class, like in February, I think I was just like, this is so fucking cool. I was just like, boom, I'm in.
This is what I've been looking for. Who is this guy?
Yes, dude. Exactly,
I mean, he's
Rich.
pretty cool. He's got some good ideas and stuff, but like, hi,
like
Roberto, like, nice meeting you.
Yeah,
what's up,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I was looking for when, you know, I opened my shop. I didn't see any reason why we all couldn't get along in the community. Like we have like 13 shops and like 5 square miles around us. Like, why can't we all just get along? Like what? We all have the coolest fucking job in the world. Like, we don't even need to talk about our job. Let's talk about something else. I'm not saying in here. I'm saying if we like, in my case, I tried to have art day and invited everybody who was in the area. Jason is a prime example of that. And then he invited people, you know, and then they invite people. And then, you know, if we just got to all hang out and like shoot the shit, like you could create something like how we saw in Australia in the past 10 years. Like the neo-trad that swept through Australia was so fucking crazy and inspirational. You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't we have that in Horsham, Pennsylvania? You know?
That's my question.
Like, but this is what I've been looking for. Like this kind of environment where you can speak, you know, at length. I don't know how I wasn't privy to it until like last night. So
yeah, man, that's the thing that we've been trying to do is kind of, you know, spread the good word, dude, fight the good fight. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, dude. So it's so awesome to hear you, an artist of your caliber, like say the same kind of things that we're relating to, man. It's fucking great. Dude. Thank you.
Thanks.
Radical. Yeah. Yeah, I've always dug the environment too. It's always been a positive kind of environment. You know what I mean? It's I've always had my apprehension with like kind of jumping on and like having people look at my work and stuff too, dude. So, but this has been such a learning experience for me, and I think everybody else that's been in here so far, it's been great to meet everybody and such. And pretty rad. But we're gonna be in Philly at the Tattoo Art Convention, the Villain Arts show, right, Jason?
We will. Yep.
I don't know if you're working that or not, Rich. If not, dude, maybe we should try to get together.
Not this year.
Not
this year.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude,
Cool.
I'm way too happy to go do that convention this year.
Oh snap! Uh-oh.
That convention can really get to people.
Oh man, dude, that convention, it's like what? I remember doing it like, I don't know, like 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and it used to be in a hotel, actually. It used to be down at in the Sheraton, and you had to go up this like an escalator that was legit for one person at a time. It was like really thin. They always had like the motorcycle convention downstairs or the car convention on the same day. So you smell an exhaust, everything's wild. The ceilings were only like 11 feet, so it was hot as balls. And then when they opened it up to the convention center, like, yeah, that, made you feel more comfortable. But now they're stuffing in like 1,000 artists a year, like
2,000,
right? I live a half an hour from there. I'm going to sit in my air conditioned shop with my TV on, and I'm going to tattoo somebody else, but like all my friends are coming. Right. So it's like, I should go, but at the same time, I don't know, man, that's a little too wild for me. Like I'd rather do like somewhere I've never been, Brussels. I want to do Brussels.
Oh, dude, Brussels is going to be rad.
We actually already booked our tickets for that as well. So
Sweet.
We still have to figure out hotel and lodging, by the way, Ricardo. I am not sleeping in a cardboard box next to you. I'm sorry.
No,
not on the streets of Belgium.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, let's figure it out.
Booking.com, man. Why are you sleeping in boxes?
Booking.com?
Booking.
Booking. Okay. I was like,
yeah, booking.com.
Although I will say this,
cool.
The last time I used booking.com was for the hotel that we had in Gettysburg, and I was very disappointed in that hotel.
Did you have to
I'm pretty sure I could have stayed in a crack house and it would have been better.
Oh yeah, we should look up the convention hotel for Brussels, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, one more person's on that hasn't joined us yet.
We've got Joe over here. What's up, Joe?
Hello.
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Chilling. What's going on, guys?
How you doing, man?
Good, dude. I totally love this conversation. Like, I know I'm like muted, but like, I do agree with the fact that like all artists should be more linked and like together. Because if we can go to conventions and be all cool with each other, why can't we do that with shops? Like, it should be a normal thing. I do agree with that 100%. But yeah,
yeah, we're all eating, right? You know what I mean? Like,
dude, there's
nobody's starving
on this planet, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There shouldn't be no competition. I love the fact that like, dude, I went to Gettysburg and I met a bunch of crazy artists that like literally they all like sat there and collabed with each other, which was like amazing. Like, like I just feel like that should be happening on a regular basis. And it's more like, I guess, old heads that are just like, oh no, you're messing with my money, or like whatever the case may be. I feel like there's a lot of artists that like really consider the fact that like, yeah, I'm getting paid instead of really doing good art. Like, it should be more so like, this is our job, yeah, but like do good art. Like, don't worry about getting like in and out, like, type stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, what is it, like the inherent nature of like tattooers, you know what I mean? Like, we're all a little antisocial. We're all a little mentally unstable here and there. So it's like
you kind of have to be a tattooer, right?
Yeah. When you put 1,000 of us together, somebody's going to be fighting somebody.
I will say this.
Man.
I will say this. If they're not fighting someone, they're going to do what ended up happening a couple of years ago at Philly when it was down at the convention
at the
center.
Sheraton, where the shootings. Yeah.
Oh, well, that was years ago. Ricardo and I were both at that show. We just had no idea each other existed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking like there was a guy who got way too out there on the Thursday night before doors even opened, set his mattress on fire in the hotel room and had to evacuate the entire hotel was out on the street at 3 a.m.
Sorry about
this
that,
guy
guy.
was just
Yeah.
too messed up
Rich.
and decided to cause chaos. Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
geez.
in his defense, he's a tattooer. And there were a whole bunch of us there, and we're all a little bit out there. So
Yeah, I call it artistic tendencies. You know?
right.
Depression, self-loathing, followed by bouts of feeling good about yourself.
Well, I have to
You mean
quote
manic
another artist.
episodes?
Yeah, let's call it manic episodes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I have to quote another artist that I was talking to a few weeks ago who said that if you're doing things the right way in this industry, you should be going home with just a little bit of self-loathing about the work that you've done that day. Right.
Yep.
Because if you're not, then, you need to take a step back, check yourself and say, okay, there's definitely people out there doing better stuff than I am. So you have to have a little bit of that self-loathing to keep pushing yourself to get better. So,
But like also be in the present. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's like a super cliche thing, but be in the present, be happy with what you did that day, because we always, as people, especially more in like the Western culture, we put the goalpost of happiness just outside of our reach, so like, oh, I got to get into a good college. So I have to be really good in high school. And then you're like, when I get in that good college, I'll be happy. Then you get out of college and you're like, well, I need a really good job. That's when I'll be happy. And then you get that good job. You're like, I need that promotion. That's when I'll be happy. You have to be happy with that moment you're in too. So it's that weird balance of like, don't put that goalpost outside of your reach. Set goals for yourself to achieve, and then, be happy while doing it, right? Like,
Absolutely.
But I fully agree. I hate myself like thoroughly. So.
Well, I mean, that goes back. So I was listening to a speech Matthew McConaughey gave where he was talking exactly about what you were just talking about and how in this Western culture, we fixate on happiness as being this endpoint, right? It's this achievable thing that we can obtain. But the problem is once we obtain what we think is going to achieve that, there's always something else. So we're never really happy. And what he says is instead of focusing on that, focus on finding joy in that moment, right?
Yep,
absolutely.
Because as long as you can find that joy in doing that day-to-day thing, and even though you haven't reached that endpoint yet, when you focus on that process and that day-to-day, you'll always have that joy in your life. So it's something I try to remind myself of all the time.
It's hard to focus on happiness. It really is. Like, it's really easy to backslide into, that negativity. It's so weird how that's a default.
Yeah, man. It's that inner monologue a lot of the times, it's that inner monologue. It's setting your intentions and manifesting your own happiness. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately it boils down to, no matter what's happening around you, you're in charge of your own happiness or your own, self-deprecation. You know what I mean? And it's up to us as an individual, and then to be able to spread it around and then be in that environment where it kind of comes right back at you, so that you can't be happy all the time, but you have to be able to learn how to notice it, acknowledge it, and just be in that moment.
I've met some happy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Where I could not see a negative thought come across their mind, and just I don't know how they do it. I've seen people that are just pure happiness all the time, and I have no idea how they do it in this industry.
I'm working on it.
It's so
weird.
weird.
We're working on it, man.
Yeah, it's a process, man. And just kicking back and like jumping in here, right? Finding the joy in having this discussion, right? Getting to connect with amazing artists from all over the place, And I mean, like yesterday we had such a global outreach. There were people from 8 different countries that were watching this live.
That's cool.
I think it was 8. It might have been more. I lost track after 8, probably because that's as high as I can count. but that's neither here nor there. You know, but math and numbers were never my strong suit, obviously. But it's like finding the joy and being able to connect with other artists from different places to get different perspectives about things, right? Like, you know, line weight and value contrast and, you know, large fields of gradients and color schemes and color palettes and creating visual impact. We all have different views on that, and we all have different ideas on that and how to achieve that. For me, being able to sit back and be a fly on the wall while like all of you guys are discussing everything going on and your own perspectives on it, I'm sitting back like absorbing all of it and being like, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm writing that shit down. You know, like, yeah, that's what I find the joy in, right? I find the joy in learning from other people from all over, right? And that's what I love the most about this industry, is that there's always something more to learn, right? Like I would working with Joe for as long as I have, right? Like he blew my mind a few times with some of like the techniques he was using. I'm like, I felt like a Neanderthal who discovered fire for the first time, and Joe's over here with an acetylene torch, right? Or, you know, and I'm like, you know, trying to like create that first spark, and he's like, oh, dude, here's a lighter, just use this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also
mind-blowing stuff, right? That I would have never understood or even contemplated, and he's over here and he's already mastered it, right? So it's working with other artists and learning from them that like, that's my happiness, man. That is my pure unadulterated joy, right? Is to take these different perspectives and say, that's a new way of seeing or thinking that I never even thought about, right? You know, and it just makes you change your entire view on everything.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Well said.
So yeah, you got any fun projects coming up, Joe?
Actually, yeah, I wanted you. I mean, I guess I want you guys' opinion, because I only do like hyper realism, black and gray. I really don't do anything besides that. Jason knows that. But this weekend at Gettysburg, I kind of like got inspired to like step out of that and kind of like do this like combination of like what I do, but with like neo-trad. And you know what I'm talking about, Jason, because it's like your boy does it, and I fell in love with it. That since I've gotten back, it's all I've been doing is just drawing like neo-trad stuff, which is like out of my like norm.
Nice, dude. That's so radical, Joe.
How do I flip this around?
There should be a little camera icon. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Here you go.
Let me spotlight you, and we can bring that up for everyone.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, dude, that's cool. Tight, man.
And you're still doing your hyper realism black and gray along with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, you're doing like, it's gonna look like a collaboration piece between you and somebody else.
Right, yeah, but like I've seen it and I was like, yo, this is so sick. I was like, this is so sick. And like I love doing like realism stuff, but like this, just to add a spin on it, did make some way more fun, I think.
Yes.
And you know, this way I can use the colors I bought that I never used ever.
I was gonna say, man, I watched you buy hundreds of dollars worth of color, and I think I saw you do one color tattoo the entire time that we were working next to each other.
Yeah, because you know, like when you do a wolf or like you do a lion, and people are like, I need blue in the eyes, so you kind of need like the blue, you know. Like, but yeah, dude, I've been like so inspired since I met like other artists and like talking to them and stuff. So hopefully, I keep that train going, you know.
Yeah, I'll pull up the one piece. It was the piece between Devin and Harlan. Is that the one that?
So, yeah.
Yeah, it had like the red roses with the skull in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So let me I'll screen share that real quick just so that everyone can see like what kind of sparked this inspiration. So this was a collaboration between two friends of mine that was done at Gettysburg, Harlan Cantor and Devin Cooley. I've
Both
been,
really cool dudes.
yeah, super awesome guys. I've been privileged enough to get tattooed by Devin before. And Harlan has the ability to switch almost like someone's flicking a light switch, right? He can go back and forth between black and gray realism and like super bold
Yeah.
color neotrad.
Yeah, I've been
And
talking to him like since I got back, dude, and he's like been pushing me to do it. So
yeah,
Oh,
you know,
so cool.
watching that whole process was just mind blowing. So that's the piece that was inspired, that kind of kicked Joe's inspiration off to really get into this. You know, and I love seeing that kind of duality in that mix in styles. You started seeing it a few years back with, I forget the guy's name. I think he was working out in Georgia, but he
Yogi.
started mixing like realism with like super traditional old school, right?
Barrett,
And
Yogi
then-
Barrett or
I
something.
think Ricardo was saying it, Yogi, right?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
Yogi
so, yeah.
Barrett does also do it, but I know that
But not
Yogi
that one.
wasn't the first guy to do it.
Okay.
Yogi's the only one that I've seen like master it, like per se by himself, like doing all in one tattoo. Whereas you see a lot of other people that will get in on large scale collaborations like this, where you actually have two different artists that will go in and collaborate on that individual design. But I know that there was one other guy years ago that started doing a lot of like realism and like super bold traditional. I just forget the guy's name off the top of my head. But you know, it's mixing styles like this that you can really kind of see, you know, just the versatility and, you know, the mix of different styles that different people have, you know, and I love stuff like this.
this
And
is
Joe,
where it
I'd love
becomes
to
art.
see, I'd
This is
love
where it
to see
becomes
you do
art.
this.
Not
Yeah,
tattoos.
exactly.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty cool that you said that, Joe, because it's like the collaboration between two different artists that made that happen, you know? So
Right.
there it is again, you know, the sharing of ideas, the sharing of information, the sharing of inspiration. It can be a very positive thing. Kitty cat.
I know. They're like stepping all over my iPad when I'm drawing and stuff.
When they want attention, they'll get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm on like phase 2. So I did that one and I started doodling a rose, and I don't know, I'm trying to think how to make it into something hyper real too. I think I'm gonna do like partial, like half and half, maybe like half, half real or something. I don't know.
That sounds like fun. You have a sketch for it? Can we see it?
Yeah, I got just the outline done like yesterday. So I was doing it while you guys were like,
Okay.
Oh, kick ass, dude.
it's definitely
yeah.
out of my realm, dude. I'm like looking up other people's stuff. I'm like, all right, how do I do this? Because like I don't draw cartoons, so I'm like trying to like figure it out.
Time and effort. You're on the right
Yeah,
track,
buddy.
though.
I'm like studying it, dude. Ever since I got back, that's all I've been doing,
Simplify.
studying it.
Simplification is the
I
key.
know, dude. It is like there's no like I'm so used to just doing like fine detail work, and like this is just not. It's just bold lines and flat color. It's like, oh,
Draw it small. Seriously.
right.
Shrink
Draw like this
everything
thing.
that you're doing
Yeah.
so that it's super small, because you like to do super tiny little detailed things anyway. So it might be a way to trick your mind into doing it and to like simplifying things. Because if you shrink everything down, and I know this is the way that a lot of like very traditional Japanese artists will draw large scale tattoos is on index cards, right? They'll get, and as long as they can draw it on that index card, when they blow it up 12 times the size, they know it's going to be bold and simple enough to read well over time. And that's something that's like a little trick that I've picked up along the road that I've traveled. So simplification, man, figuring out what you need to have in there to convey the information that you're trying to get across, and what you can leave out while still delivering that information. Right? Because when you cut out like all the tiny little details, that's when you end up with something that could be considered more neo-trad, right? Or more traditional in style. you know, you're going through and you're boiling things down to get that base information across, and then maybe adding a little bit more back into it once it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, like I think like that focus of let's just say Americana traditional, right? Just traddy work. You know, like the core basis of of trad work is, you know, the longevity. You know, they want you to live to 90 and still be able to read that idea. And then neo trad was born of that. You know, you added more in, you know, so what Jason was saying was fucking super accurate, right? Because it was, you know, is Japanese work, you know, and Polynesian work, and then Americans got a hold of it and all that kind of stuff, and they simplified everything down because they don't believe you can have perspective within a tattoo. And then neo-trad guys came out and were like, you can absolutely have perspective by adding in more line weight, and then also creating the perspective or the necessary lines to create perspective in the design. And then, but, you know, and then you can then go back and add more, just like he said. You know, you still have the longevity of a fucking banging tattoo is going to last that person's lifetime, and then still staying true to you as an artist, you know? So you're staring at it and you're looking, you're like, what the fuck, man? I've been working on this rose for a while. Like, I don't understand it. I don't draw cartoons. Well, you know, add a little bit more of you into it. You know what I mean? Like, add more of you into it. Add what you do into it, which you already are. You know what I mean? Like that first one you showed, right?
Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, it is about simplifying and then adding back in. You know, that's how I go from the 18 round to the bug pin 3, you know?
You know, that's awesome, Rich. Another thing I think he could do too is, and I say this artist name a lot, but he's really influential. I think, especially with like that contour line kind of thing that you're talking about, thicker, thinner lines, you know, dissipated line work. Alphonse Mucha.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a lot of that illustrative style that you're talking about, man,
Yep.
and like that depth that Joe's talking about as well. Like everything is framed out, solid as can be. Like if you took away everything as far as saturation of color and saturation of, you know, tonal value out of his drawings, it's finished no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, and all he did was embellish it.
Yeah, he did that for lithograph. And he didn't even know that he was creating something that was going to work really well for the material that is skin. Like he had no idea. You know what I mean?
Right.
Was it exactly. What he was painting what, an 18 something or another?
Yeah, late
you know?
1800s, right?
Yeah, so like, you know, that he truly is like the predecessor to neo-trad, you know?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, and then a lot of fundamentals in tattoo work, even realism kind of stuff. You know, there's a lot of those fundamentals in there, hidden underneath that image. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the other thing that a lot of people kind of lose track of. I think whenever they're comparing traditional to, you know, realism and such, there's a lot of the same fundamentals inside of it because you're using the medium of tattoos to accomplish this goal, this end goal, right? So, yeah. But like, as far as contour lines and stuff like that, that's different variation. But yeah, for sure. Man, I love his work. Jason and I have sat down and like torn apart a few of his paintings and stuff like that, dude. That was always a fun time to do that with him. I don't know if you can pull some of his stuff up right now, Jason, so we can kind of take a look.
What are you, nuts?
Right on.
I've got books
got
and
folders.
books and books of his, man.
Yeah.
I actually have the printout books from like Barnes and Noble from like 20 years ago.
Likewise, yeah.
You know, those things with paper in them and
yeah.
Oh wait, is that what those are called? Some of them have letters and like groups and stuff.
Yeah. Some of them have paperbacks, some of them are hardbacks. What the hell is going on here? I don't get it.
Yeah, I still can't figure out which way to like read them. Sometimes like you have to like move them around a little bit.
It's just
and then like all of those tiny little things start to make sense.
It is funny. I've always ended up picking up books and like flipping them from the back to the front. I don't know what the hell the deal was. I've always done that, but backwards, man. There we go.
I've done probably about half of these paintings already on people.
That's awesome, dude. That must have been a fun study for you then.
Yeah, they're fun. I did summer on an apprentice like way back. It was like a almost full, maybe. Actually, no, it's 3/4. I love that one.
Yeah.
I like the accoutrement in that, where she's got the headdress and everything.
Yes, dude.
There's
And
one
then, of
where
course-
it's largely silhouetted. It looks like it might be that one you're in the bluish one. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Right there.
But that's not the one. There's one similar to that in a painting form that he did that's like highly silhouetted, and it's like absolutely beautiful. But I don't see it anywhere. Oh well.
I love seeing his sketches for some of these too, man. It's incredible.
Yeah.
They're pretty close to finished already. You know, he might move a couple of things around here and there, but the sketches are just like they're already almost finished all on its own. Yeah, he's got some killer work.
Yeah. I mean,
I like how he does the snow built up on the on like the branches and everything.
Right.
I've actually used that for inspiration, like the like how he designed that snow, sitting on top, how that could just be a negative space, you know, and not actually be colored at all, you know.
And the cool part is that when you do that, it translates well into longevity for the tattoo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man, that piece that you have in that black frame right now, Jason, I don't think I've seen that one before. The one that you have selected. Can you zoom in on that by any chance?
maybe. Let's find out.
Oh man, it's incredible. I love the valleys that he has. They're all so muted and soft.
Don't know if it's going to let me. Let's do this.
There you go.
Here, oh.
Yeah, it's killer. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one looks like it has a little less line weight on the form.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
think
still there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned Teresa Sharp. You know what I mean? Like, if that was a back piece, I'd be perfectly fine with that line weight. You
Absolutely.
know, it doesn't have to increase as the piece increases, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's killer, dude. I love it. The composition in itself is enough to study just all on its own. How formidable all of it is in that cohesive kind of manner. It's incredible.
Yeah, I love it because of, and this is one thing that I've always loved about his work, how he will literally tell you exactly where he wants you to look.
Yes.
Right. Without ever, you know, doing anything super special. He's bringing your eye from this bottom right corner up using these branches. Right. And then he's taking this arm and moving this arm over, this shoulder down, and then back up so that you're forced to look right there.
Right,
you know, and you see it in every single thing he does.
I think that's because of triangles.
Triangles.
No, I was wondering if we were going to get through today's session without that word being said. So, Rich, just to let you in, there's a running joke between Ricardo and myself where Ricardo literally sees triangles and everything. It doesn't matter if it's a whole bunch of circles, he's going to see triangles. It doesn't matter if it's hexagons, he's going to see triangles, or squares. He sees nothing but triangles, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the running joke is, okay, can we make it through one of these drawing groups without Ricardo saying the word triangles?
Yeah.
And fortunately, this point in time, Ricardo didn't have to say the word triangle because Kirsten said it.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Really, man?
You gave Ricardo a
Yes.
pass on that one. Bravo.
I'll do my
Found
best.
a way to say it without saying it, Ricardo. Bravo.
I mean, you know, but the fact is that they're all there, and part of the reason that your eye is drawn
here we
to
go.
that angle, that face, that focal point, is because of the intersecting lines that lay underneath it. It just so happens to be that every single one of those intersecting lines, they intersect at and form triangles underneath it. There's a geometric tree of life. I see a geometric tree of life underneath that entire composition. And all of those are intersecting angles that form triangles. So I don't know how else to say it. It's sound as fuck. and the triangles are what makes it pop out and be so easy on your eye at the same time.
Feels like it's like number 23.
What's that?
I said it feels like the number 23.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
They're there, man. I'm telling you.
I brought up the
can you-
point before where I think Ricardo is fixated on triangles simply because like triangles are made out of all diagonal lines, right? Diagonal
Yes.
lines will move your eye around a piece and create a sense of motion in a fine art piece, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Underlying
you can
composition.
find those diagonal lines in anything that you look for, right? And you can see ways that your eye is being directed around using different types of diagonal angles. So that's my own philosophy on why I think he sees triangles and everything.
I'd say I agree with you completely. It's the underlying composition. And especially when you're trying to draw, you know what I mean? We're taught this grid pattern kind of thing at an early stage of an artist's career, life, or, you know, interest in art. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing as like following that grid pattern, except for you're just paying attention to those intersecting angles, parallel lines that are at that angle that you're talking about. Yeah. And yeah, the seed of life is in there. The flower of life is in there. Geometric tree, the dodecahedron.
Dodecahedrons.
Yeah, it's all in there, man. The
my
five
favorite
platonic
word.
states. Yeah. So cool. Well,
Here's
on that
another one
note,
that we can take a look at and really start to pick apart. This is probably my favorite series that he's ever done. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Media. Yeah, here we go. Man, sometimes being a tech guy is kind of nice because you can find like buried images that they don't necessarily want you to pull up at full resolution.
huh.
So this is probably my favorite collection of Mukas. It's the Four Seasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, and just everything from the way that your eye will constantly move around to exactly where he wants you to look every single time.
Okay, I agree with you. And then DC. Oh, never mind. I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah, we know, Ricardo, you see triangles.
There's
everywhere.
one. I mean, with these four pieces in general, look at the shoulders that go straight across in a parallel line from left to right. That flower on the left-hand side of the farthest left painting, all the way down to the midpoint, all the way back up to the right hand of the woman with the.
We get it, Ricardo. You see
the
triangles and
cloth.
everything.
It's
get it.
dude. It's
triangle.
they're all there, man. I'm trying to tell you guys. I feel like a crazy man saying it all the time for sure, but it's true. It's there. And then you break each one of them down into the same kind of composition.
See, I love
So
what he does with
cohesively
these
they all work.
ornaments.
But
I love what he does with like the exterior ornaments too, to accent and kind of offset a lot of these very smooth, very simplistic backgrounds. He's got a lot of these repeating graduated kind of patterns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think Rich, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's like the great great grandfather of like neo-traditional kind of styles.
Yeah, absolutely. The colors are great too. That red and that like olive and that third one from the left. So saturated.
See, I really kind of like this like pale like lime green with like this nice bright peach. I love that color scheme.
And look at that teal.
That's another running joke, by the way. Kirsten's obsessed with the color teal, and
It's
she
not-
literally tries to put it in every tattoo.
It's a running scientific experiment. The universal accent color.
Unless, of course, your primary color is teal, because then you can't accent teal with teal. then it's not an accent. It's a primary.
There's different values of teal.
Do you see what I have to deal with, Rich, regularly? Do you see what I have to deal with?
Yeah,
this,
but who's
this is
using
what I got
teal and
myself involved
triangles?
with. Triangles and teal all day long,
Yes.
every day. What have I done to myself?
There's worse things.
Why did I put myself into this kind of masochistic situation?
There's worse things.
I'm not saying
yeah.
there's not. I'm just saying, like,
And you were stuck
this
with
is what
us
I've
for a
gotten
weekend.
myself into.
You
And
know what's
I'm
worse than
way
that?
I'm in way too deep to ever get out of it. So I'm just kind of stuck with it.
I'll tell you what's worse than that is scrolling through like one of the media channels like Netflix or something and not figuring out what it is that you're gonna watch.
Truth. Truth.
And then you end up falling asleep before you even pick anything. It's like, I was gonna read a book too, but nah, I'm gonna just go to sleep scrolling through all this stuff looking for something to watch. Yeah.
Well, I think it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen. We can go through and everyone can start giving some sign-offs. Akshay, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yes, sir. So my name is Akshay Kashyap and I'm from India, and I mostly do black and gray kind of work. But recently from these sessions, I got inspired to do more like illustrative style. It's so amazing to be here, and thank you so much, sir, for hosting this show. Thank you, Rich, sir, for the amazing information. Thank you, everybody. It's so nice to meet you here. And I would heartily thank you to Gabe, sir, and Guy, sir, for doing this. Thank you, sir. Best way to reach me out is through my Instagram, which is akshay.tattoos. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining in today, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely.
Cool. Who wants to go next? Joe, Kirsten, Ricardo, anyone?
I can go.
Cool. Go ahead.
Okay, hello. My name is Kirsten Franklin. I am a first-year tattooer. I do classes on Thursdays called the Thursday Night Fundamentals. You can find me on Instagram at Frankie Says Things under the same handle here on Reinventing the Tattoo. Sorry it's a little late, guys. Stayed up way too late last night. You guys are the best, and see you Thursday.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Joe? Spotlight
Sure,
you.
I guess. Yeah. I am Joe. My Instagram handle is Phantom Tattoos. I'm a hyper realistic black and gray artist. But hopefully it's going to change into something more. You probably see me pop into these sessions a lot more since I'm very much inspired by everybody in the chat here. I think it's dope meeting new people and stuff. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And Ricardo, why don't you go through and give us a quick little sign off?
Cool. My name is Ricardo Sertivant. You can find me on Instagram at Candor Tattoo. I don't know. I think I do some illustrative stuff, so check that out. I also host a drawing class Tuesday mornings at I think is it 9 a.m. Eastern. I believe it's 9 a.m. Check me out. Come join in. We kind of do the same thing. I kind of direct a little bit more of a drawing, the way that I approach it, and I'll talk about triangles. I'll talk about composition. So if you guys aren't tired of hearing that stuff, then tune on in. And Jason, it's always a pleasure being around you, man. It's always enjoyable being on these Zoom meetings with you. And I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Guy Atchison. Recently had the wonderful opportunity of getting tattooed by him.
Yeah,
last
let's
week.
see it, man. Show it off. Show it off.
It's kind of dry right now.
Crazy, sir. Oh,
It goes up a little ways.
awesome.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I humbly asked him if I could get some black and gray from him, which is awesome that he agreed to do it. He loves doing black and gray, even though you see a lot of his color work. Like I said, it's kind of dry right now. Gonna put some more lotion and stuff on it here in a little bit, but
It puts
It
the
was-
lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
right, exactly. So, but it was cool, man, being able to talk to him about my idea and us to be able to translate that into an image. awesome experience. Yeah.
Bravo, man. Thank you very much for jumping in today, man. Always appreciate
Thanks.
it. And I'm as much as I might, poke at you a little bit for the triangle thing, I always love having you on. So
Yeah, for
thank you
sure.
very much.
Always a pleasure. No problem.
Cool. Rich, I'm going to go through and spotlight you. Just let everyone know how they can get a hold of you and, yeah.
Say, you want me to do what they just basically did?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm Rich Wren. You can reach me at richcraft.com, or my Instagram handle is the Rich Wren, WREN, like the bird. I do neo-trad illustrative kind of style. And thanks for having me on. It's awesome. Having a good time.
Awesome. Excellent. And I guess it's down to me. So my name is Jason Leeser. I host the Sunday afternoon drawing groups and occasionally the Monday morning drawing groups. I'd like to thank everyone on here. Seriously, guys, thank you so much for jumping in. Today was absolutely awesome. I know I learned a lot. I hope everyone out there watching did as well. Yeah, feel free to join us every Sunday and Monday morning. Tuesday mornings with Ricardo, Thursday nights with Kirsten. There's always an interesting discussion going on in any one of these groups. Feel free to tune in for more. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to go through and click the button in just a minute to stop everything. So this is the point in time where everyone, please raise your glass, make a funny face, do something crazy. Do whatever you want to do and say goodbye and cheers.
Bye.